Imagine a world where a failing heart meant a certain death sentence, a world where doctors could only watch, helplessly, as their patient's most vital organ gave out. This was the reality for centuries. But in 1967, one daring surgeon in Cape Town, South Africa, decided to challenge fate itself. This is the story of the first human-to-human heart transplant, a medical miracle that redefined the limits of what's possible and gave hope to millions. Our story begins with Louis Washkansky, a 53-year-old grocer whose life was rapidly fading. He was a vibrant man, but his heart was failing him spectacularly. After multiple heart attacks, his heart was a wreck. He was suffering from congestive heart failure. His body was swollen, and he could barely breathe. Doctors had given up. They sent him home to die, a man drowning on dry land, his own body betraying him. For Louis and his wife, Anne, despair was a constant companion. Every labored breath felt like it could be his last. Hope was a luxury they couldn't afford. But across town, at Groote Hospital, a brilliant and ambitious cardiothoracic surgeon named Christian Barnard was preparing to make history. Dr. Barnard was known for his skill, his confidence, and his relentless drive. He had honed his techniques in the United States, studying under pioneering surgeons, and had successfully performed numerous heart surgeries on dogs. He believed, with every fiber of his being, that transplanting a human heart was not just possible, but imminent. All he needed was the right patient and, crucially, the right donor. The ethical and legal maze was as complex as the surgery itself. How do you define death? When is it acceptable to take an organ from one person to save another? These were uncharted territories. The world was watching, and the pressure was immense. Dr. Barnard knew that one wrong move could set the field of transplantation back by decades. He wasn't just operating on a patient, he was operating on the future of medicine itself. On the afternoon of December 2nd, 1967, a tragedy provided the slimmiest glimmer of hope. A young woman named Denise Darvell, just 25 years old, was struck by a car while crossing the street with her mother. Her mother died at the scene. Denise was rushed to Groote Hospital with catastrophic head injuries. She was declared brain. Her own heart was healthy and strong, but her brain was gone. She was being kept alive by a machine. The moment of truth had arrived. Dr. Barnard's team approached Denise's grieving father, Edouard Dar. In a moment of unimaginable grief, having just lost his wife and now facing the loss of his daughter, he was asked to make a decision that no parent should ever have to make. Could they use his daughter's heart to save another man's life? In an incredible act of generosity and foresight, Edouard Darvell consented. He said, "If you can't save my daughter, you must try and save this man." His selfless decision would change the world. The clock was ticking. The moment Denise's life support was turned off, a race against time began. A team of surgeons, nurses, and technicians, 30 people in all, sprang into action. They worked with a precision and focus that was almost superhuman. The hospital was buzzing with a nervous energy, a mix of anticipation and terror. At 3 o'clock in the morning on December 3rd, the historic operation commenced. Dr. Barnard and his team carefully removed Louis Washkansky's diseased, enlarged heart. Imagine the sight. An empty chest cavity, a life sustained only by a heart-lung machine. Then they brought in Denise Darvell's healthy heart. It was small, youthful, and full of life. It was placed into Washkansky's chest. The most critical moment came as they prepared to restart the heart. The team held their breath. Dr. Barnard administered a single electric shock. For a tense few seconds, nothing happened. The silence in the operating room was deafening. And then, a flicker. A beat. Then, another. Slowly, but surely, Denise Darvell's heart began to beat steadily inside Louis Washkansky's chest. It was beating on its own. A new heart, in a new body, pumping new life. The team erupted in a wave of relief and quiet celebration. They had done it. They had defied death. When Louis Washkansky woke up, the world was a different place. He could breathe easily, for the first time in years. The first words he reportedly managed to say were, "I'm the new Frankenstein." His wit was as strong as his new heart. News of the transplant spread like wildfire across the globe. Christian Barnard became an overnight international celebrity. the face of a new era in medicine. The surgery was hailed as one of the greatest medical achievements of the 20th century. It wasn't just a medical procedure, it was a symbol of human ingenuity and the unyielding fight for life. The operation proved that heart transplantation was technically possible. But the next great hurdle was the body's own defense system. The immune system, designed to attack foreign invaders, saw the new heart as an enemy. Louis Washkansky was given powerful immunosuppressant drugs to prevent his body from rejecting the new organ. For a brief period, everything seemed perfect. Washkansky's recovery was remarkable. He was sitting up, talking, and enjoying meals. The world celebrated with him. He was living proof that a person could live with another's heart. But the drugs that were suppressing his immune system also left him vulnerable to infection. 18 days after his historic surgery, Louis Washkansky died of double pneumonia. Was it a failure? Some critics said yes. But Dr. Barnard and the medical community saw it differently. Washkansky didn't die because the heart failed. The heart beat strongly until the very end. He died from a complication of the treatment. The surgery itself was a success. It proved the principle. It opened the door. The legacy of that operation is immeasurable. It sparked a revolution in transplant medicine. Surgeons around the world were inspired to follow in Barnard's footsteps. The initial years were difficult, with high mortality rates due to rejection and infection. But with each procedure, scientists learned more. They developed better anti-rejection drugs, improved surgical techniques, and refined the criteria for donors and recipients. Think about it. From that single, daring operation in 1967, a whole new field of medicine was born. Today, over 5,000 heart transplants are performed worldwide every year. People who once faced certain death are now given a second chance at life. They go on to raise families, run marathons, and live full, vibrant lives. All thanks to the courage of a patient, the generosity of a donor's family, and the vision of a pioneering surgeon. The story of the first heart transplant is more than just a medical tale. It's a profoundly human story. It's about staring into the abyss of despair and finding a flicker of hope. It's about the incredible courage of Louis Washkansky, who risked everything for a chance to live. It's about the profound humanity of Edward Darville, who chose compassion in his darkest hour. And it's about the audacity of Christian Barnard, who dared to believe he could mend a broken heart. It reminds us that the greatest breakthroughs often come from the greatest risks, and that even in the face of death, the human spirit's quest for life is unstoppable. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as we did, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories from history and science. We'll see you in the next video.